last week in our accidental back to school series, we made this pencil case. What would go better than this pencil case? Well, let's look at bag charms. So today we're going to make this little guy. Are we going to make him in two-tone? Maybe, maybe not. This one's based on Mariah Elizabeth's drawing of rhubarb, but we're going to do him in one colour and turn him more into a monkey so that he's less of a pink and yellow creep thing and more of something else. In the meantime, let's get going. Right, so you're going to need a 3mm hook, some DK weight yarn. I just used some milk cotton here. This is a weight 3 yarn, I believe. Some safety eyes, a safety nose, and a clip for when you're putting it on the top of a head so that it can attach to things. I've tried to make the footage a bit slower because I feel like my last tutorial, everything went a little fast. Right, so you're going to do the arms first. You're going to make 2 of them because you can choose to sew them onto the body, or you can choose to stitch them into the body as you go through. Start with 6 single crochet in a magic loop. I mean, there's nothing really odd about that one for starting an arm, to be completely honest. Then when we've got there, we're going to do 2 rows, which is going to make us a little paw at the end. So that's the 6 single crochet. You're going to single crochet into each one of those over 2 rows. I think that makes sense. Yeah. Once we get there, what you've got is this little paw looking like that. You don't need to put any stuffing in at this point, but I always check that the yarn tail is shoved in there nice and neat because it sort of gives it a little bit of poof, but not too much poof. Nobody wants a hassle. So then what we're going to do, right, now we're going to do a decrease, followed by a single crochet, followed by a decrease, followed by a single crochet. This is going to leave us with 4 stitches in the round. Now this is kind of tricky when it gets so small, but you'll be fine. Now we're going to do 6 more rows. When we get to the end of our 6 rows, we're going to fold our arm in half, and we're going to single crochet through 2 stitches at a time, one from each side of the half, just to close it off at the top and give us these 2 final stitches. You're going to make 2 of these, so you can leave them and stitch them in later or sew them on at the end. Legs. These begin the same way. We are 6 single crochet into a magic circle or a magic ring, whichever one you want to call it. Now your first leg, you're going to slip stitch it closed at the end, but your second leg you're not. So the first leg, it's 6 single crochet into the magic circle, and then it's just 10 rows. Nice and simple. Take that last stitch and slip stitch it into the next stitch, and your leggy is done. It's just a straight little tubular boy. Now second leg is exactly the same, only instead of slip stitching at the end, you're going to leave that working yarn at the top. We're going to use this loop, and we're going to carry on from leg 2 to join them in the round. So the first thing we're going to do to join them in the round is we're going to take that loop with the working yarn, and we're going to chain 2. Now this chain 2 adds a little bit of width to the body. It's the crotch area, but does anyone want to say crotch when they're making a crochet thing? It's the... You're going to chain 2 anyway. Those chain 2 you're then going to attach to leg 1 by single crocheting around the top of leg 1. I mean, this bit can feel slightly tricky because you've got a lot going on at this point. So we're going to do 6 single crochet around leg 1. Then we're going to do 2 single crochet into the other side of the chain that we just put in. You can use the back loops, but it really doesn't matter because nobody's looking. It's going to be a really small space anyway. So then we're just going to keep going around, and we're going to do 6 single crochet on the other side, and then 2 single crochet into the crotch bit, for lack of a better description. This is now giving us 14 stitches in our row. So our 14 stitches, we're just going to carry on for 7 rows. This creates his little body, and we're just going to work up all the way there. It gets easier. The first few rows are a little bit tricky because you never know quite how to hold it. You never know where to put your hands, or at least I don't. Then when you get a few rows along, it starts to make sense. So we're just going to work on up his body there until we get 7 rows up. In this 8th row, this is where we're going to be adding the arms if we want to add the arm. Now if you want to stitch them in, fold the body in half, and where that halfway point is, take the stitch either side of the halfway point and stitch the arms through the arm and then through into the body. And you can attach them that way. It's just a straight row all the way around. Or if that's a bit tricky because you're a beginner, just sew the arms on later. It really doesn't matter. They're not going to come under a lot of stress. Right, now we're going to do 8 decreases. So at this point what we've got is we've got a stuffed body. He doesn't need to be stuffed very firmly. He's not a chunky boy. He's a Slim Jim really. We're going to do 8 decreases, which we're going to single crochet 2 together around the 16, which gives us 8 stitches, and then we can just slip stitch at the end, and there we go. We've got a body. The stuffing's not falling out, and we're attaching the head to the top. For the head, 6 single crochet into your magic circle to begin. Again, we're not having any surprises at this point. In our second row, what we're going to do is increase into each one of these stitches, where we go dropping it, because why wouldn't we? We're going to increase in every stitch. That's going to take us from 6 up to 12. And this will seem really similar to a lot of the projects that you will have done. When we get up to 12 stitches, I find it's a good point to start using a stitch marker. So this third row, what we're going to do is a single crochet followed by an increase all the way around. That will take us up to 18 stitches in total, and that's as wide as the head is going to get. His body is just a little bit slimmer than his head. So we're going to do 4 rows of single crochet. That's going to take us from the top of his head down to around about his jawline, for lack of a better description. Once we get there, we're going to start doing a little bit of decreasing and putting in the eyes. So there we got his full length of his body. It looks a little bit like a juggernaut helmet at this point, but you know, we're not judging him. So we're up to the point now where we're going to do a single crochet and a decrease around the entire round. So we're going to drop the 18 stitches down to 12 stitches. Now the next thing that's going to happen is we're going to add the eyes and the nose. Now I chose to use safety eyes and a safety nose because when I bought a pack of safety eyes and safety noses, I have so many of them. You can put them in anywhere you like. You can have them close together, you can have them further apart. Some people like them up high, some people like them down low. Shove them in and just see what facial expression you like. I tend to sort of squeeze them as together as I can on this little boy because I find that his big ears make him look really cute. Now we're just going to do a decrease all the way around. So we're going to go from our 12 stitches down to our 6 stitches after we've stuffed the head, of course. So we stuff the head and then we're decreasing all the way around. And there's a little face, isn't he cute? Right, the ears are the last thing to do. So magic circle, we're going to do 4 single crochet into our magic circle. Do not close the loop, if you know what I mean. Like, you pull it but don't close it, because now we're going to chain 1 and we're going to go back down the other way and we're going to increase into every stitch. That's going to give us 8 stitches over the course of our ear. Then just cut your yarn off, slip it through the last stitch and pull it tight, and what we've got is this nice little half circle. If we put a bend in it, what you get is an ear shape, and that ear shape is what we're going to stitch onto the top of our bear, monkey, whatever you want to call him. He's kind of a nondescript character. You can make him a tail. Your tail can just be 6 crochet into a magic circle and then 10 to 14 rows. You do not have to make a tail. I've made them with a tail, I've made them without a tail, because it really doesn't matter what he is. Without a tail, he looks more like a skinny bear. With a tail, he looks more like a monkey. I'm not even sure what he is. He was based off of a character that I saw drawn by Mariah Elizabeth, which she called Rhubarb, and I'm not sure what Rhubarb was either. Anyway, so we stitch the ears to the side of the head. Then when we've got the ears to the side of the head, we can stitch the head to the body. It's not even a difficult process. You're just going to whip around it with a needle and shove that head on top. Then we're going to attach our clip to the top of his head. I just do this by stitching through the top a few times. Some people do this with a jump ring. It's completely up to you and whatever type of clip that you're using. And then you're done. What you've got is this skinny boy, and you can attach him to a bag, you can attach him to your keys. He's very cute. People like playing with him. I've made a few of them at this point, and they're quite popular. All right, I will catch you next week. Bye.